All right, sure. Okay, I'll do that. And then, boom, a fucking crow yeets itself at the window, Chad. A CGI crow comes right through the window and then cuts its own head off because its head gets stuck in the window pane, and it then twists itself around so much that its head falls off. And they're like, well, that's weird. That's a little creepy and disturbing, chap. Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content on my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games. I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video. We must continue on. In case I missed you before, welcome to stream. I hope you're having a very nice Friday evening. We're going to be reviewing The Exorcist, not their movie, but the TV series, chap. I was out for about, I guess, a couple of years, 2 seasons of. We're going to review episode 1. And then after that, chat, we're going to check out the Halo Infinite campaign, and then we'll end the stream. We'll end the stream with a little bit of Jackbox Party Pack, playing the hippity hops and the rapids. I did not miss you, Naya Brownie. I remembered. I did the hard hands and stuff. I recall. But now, chap, let's go ahead and get to this TV review, this scene by scene breakdown to The Exorcist. But first, chap, before I go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty detail, I need to ask you a very important question. That question being, how many of you have seen The Exorcist TV series, chap? Fart. I'm very curious about this. I don't think a lot of people did because the show got canceled. So I don't think a lot of people watched it. Chris there says, not me. Not just the first. Oh, so you did watch it. Okay. So you'll keep me on task with what I'm messing up. Very nice. Lisa me. See, remember what I have. Okay, we got a lot of people that did. I didn't even know it existed. There you go. Castface says, nope. Helen Berger, I haven't even seen the original X-Men. You should check it out. There was TV series? Yes. Yeah, there you go. People didn't even know it existed. A lot of people didn't know. I had no idea. TV series 6 says no anyone. I won't. Okay, that's fine. Well, let me know if see if you remember any of this stuff. I'm curious. I didn't know the show existed. Bat Boy says I didn't know. Good to see Bat Boy. I didn't know the show existed, but The Exorcist is my number 2 favorite movie. Wow. Okay, we got some Exorcist fans. Let me ask you this question, chap. It is canon, yes. So, some cool facts about this show. This is a direct sequel to the original movie. Throughout the one particular moment in this first episode, you have this priest. He is I don't know what his name. His name is I don't know. He's a Spanish priest, Chad. I call him Padre throughout this episode. There's like 15 different priests in this show. In the first episode, I was like, I'm like, you're priest 1, priest 2, priest 3. That won't be good. So you are Padre, and we have Irish Padre, Chad, because he has an Irish accent. He is always talking Father Marcus, and then we have the Mexican priest, Padre, and then there was another guy, Chad, who was from the Vatican. He's Vatican Padre. That's all I know him as. But Padre, he does research, and he finds out about the original events of the first Exorcist film, which I think is cool. I'm like, that's cool. So it is, because I didn't know it was connected. I thought it was its own thing. It's its own, new story, reboot, if you will. And I thought it is neat, so especially for fans that they're connecting these. And I was like, that's kind of cool. But here's a question for you guys. Anyone in the chat, I'll ask this again one day when I review The Exorcist, but is anyone a fan of the original Exorcist movie? Which was a culture phenomenon, Chad, in the 70s. It was the highest grossing film for a while. One of the highest grossing horror movies of all time. It might still be the highest grossing horror film. Unless it beat it. Maybe it did beat it. I forgot. Lisa says, yes. Gina Davis is in the show. She is. No Name Woman says, me. I'll never eat split pea soup, but yeah. Now, Brownie, should I come to your voice? Yes. Chris Ayers pretty damn good. Person Mans, I saw when I was little, but not since. See, me love the first movie and the third. We don't speak apart. There's a lot of fans of the third one. I hear a lot of good things about that third film. They're saying, like, it's better than a lot of people give credit for. So I guess they ignore all the other stuff, right? As far as I know, yes, I mean, as they describe it on Wikipedia, it is a direct sequel to the original 1973 film and ignores the film's various sequels. So there you go. So I know that, like, in the second one, you have, like, Linda Blair coming back as Reagan. And that they don't cover that here. That's ignored. It's just the first one, Chad. It's kind of like, Halloween 2018, which right now came out the same year as this. It's like, no, ignore all those other films, Halloween 2 and when he was a Celtic, god, all that. No, it was direct sequel. 40 years later, however long it was. Yeah, but nearly 40 years later, Chad. 45. It's fucking nuts. But so for myself, I will say I am not the biggest fan of The Exorcist. I've not seen it in quite a while, but I think I saw it at an age when I already started to develop my dislike of ghost movies, of like exorcism films. Because I think I already seen a lot before The Exorcist, I want to say. And because I was like in my teens when I saw The Exorcist, I was like, I think I was like 15 or 16 when I finally sat down and watched it. And I just remember being not really scared by. I mean, there's some creepy imagery, like the one she's walking down the fucking stairs, that crab walk. I was like, that's pretty creepy. But outside of that, I just found it kind of amusing. Like how the iconic scenes in the movie, chat, where the fucking Reagan's head is turning around, when she's vomiting pea soup on people, when she's telling the priest, your mother sucks cocks in hell. It's like this is funny, this is hilarious. But a lot of people get freaked out by it. I'm not a believer in the supernatural, that kind of thing, and so already I'm just like, it's not my thing. But despite all that, I still respect the film and what it did, of course. It was a cultural phenomenon, and a lot of people loved it. A lot of people loved it when that first came out. It was one of the highest grossing films of all time. And hey, and it had a huge impact on the supernatural subgenre of horror. So give it all respect in the world, chat. And, it has earned its place in cinema despite what I think about it. And here, I haven't even seen the movie in, 15 years? Probably 15 years at this point. Yeah, 15, 16, nearly 15 years at this point. So I should probably give it another shot someday, and I will definitely review it on stream. I will do a review of the 1973 Exorcist, a scene by scene breakdown. But for today, chat, we're going to do the Exorcist TV show. And we start out in Mexico City, chat. We are following an Irish padre, okay? His name is Father Marcus, and he's going down a alleyway. It might as well be called Crime Alley, chap, because everything in that alleyway, everyone is just like, we are either going to jump, like, if you weren't a priest, we would definitely jump you and steal all of your money. But they're like, it's a padre, so like, you can pass, sir. But he goes down this dirt road. It's the middle of the night. And I think this I thought was weird. So I've always been told to not drink the water in Mexico. Like, the one that come out of the sink and all that. This guy's like, fuck that rule. I don't give a shit. He goes over to a faucet that is in an alleyway, which is already covered in human feces everywhere. And he just goes ahead. He turns that on and he just goes, just covering himself in this water. It's like, I know it's hot in Mexico, sir, but I don't think I want to drink out of that tap right there. One that has just been exposed to the elements in this crime alley. But he's done because he hears a screech and a squeal, chat, and it's kind of like does its own little version of that classic image of Max von Sydow outside the house. It's like, but this time it's like a dilapidated like Mexican apartment building, and he looks up and there's this one window that's covered in newspaper, and there's some weird creature just running around up there, and he's like, God damn it, this is going to be a hell of a night for me. But then we cut, and we're in America, chat, the United States of America, and we are introduced to a new padre, chat. We're just going to call him Padre. I don't know what his name is, but he is the recently just brought on as the priest of this new church, chat, and is visited by a whole bunch of white people, chat. So all these white people are like, why is this Mexican priest dictating to us? But they're not like that. They're not racist. At least as far as I know, they might be. Maybe in secret. But they're listening to one of his stories, chat, but the microphone goes out, and the whole church is dilapidated. It's falling apart. It looks like shit. It looks like if you were to touch anything, you would need to get a tetanus shot. Right? Tomas. They call him Tomas. That's it. His name is Tomas, chat. Padre Tomas. But it looks like if you touch anything in this church, you're going to get some type of disease. You need to go to the hospital immediately. Like, I don't know why everywhere these priests go in this show, everything is just really gross looking and covered in rust. But he's doing this whole speech about how testing one's faith can be difficult, talking about how Jesus walked on water, and you had Peter who was saying, like, I could fucking walk on water, and Jesus is like, okay, man, if you believe in yourself, go ahead and do it. And then good old Peter, he took a step out, and boom, he sunk like a goddamn rock. Jesus lifted him up and said, why didn't you believe in yourself, my son? Why didn't you believe in me? And everyone's like, that's a good story. But we also see, Chad, Gina Davis sitting next to Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, chat. And he's got like a little a Mother Mary action figure, chat. So I guess they did make like Jesus and the apostles and various other characters action figures. Is this fucking true? That's nuts. But he has a little Mary action figure, and Cameron's just playing with it in his seat, and he's like, putting up on the pew, and the kids are all laughing. And Gina Davis tells him, stop doing that, stop doing that. But you can tell, like, okay, there's definitely something weird with Cameron, chat. He doesn't seem to be in his right mind right now. Eventually, it's the end of the mass. Everyone's saying there's like about 15 people there, Chad. No one's going to church anymore. Also, it's the dead of winter in Chicago, so I get it. I wouldn't want to go outside either, Chad. When I was in Chicago in the dead of winter, it was fucking cold. But he finishes up his sermon. Everyone's saying, oh, what a great job you did. We see Cameron, he exits, and he's like, oh, hey, Cameron, I hope you're doing okay. So he's like, yeah. And he just walks away, and he just kind of stands out in the middle of the sidewalk, and you're like, oh, you start to figure out that Cameron, sadly, Chad, seems to have Alzheimer's or dementia. Gina Davis, she walks out, and she's like, beautiful service today, Padre, really do appreciate it. Sorry for my husband if he was distracting. And he's like, no, it's fine. I'm happy to have you both here. I'm hoping that your girls can stop by soon too. And she's like, oh, let me tell you about my girls, okay? The one, Casey, she's great, does everything I tell her to do. There's no way that she'll be revealed to actually be the one possessed. But this other one, Catherine, something about her I just don't like, Padre. I hope you can come down and maybe see her sometime soon. And he's like, sounds good. But he keeps getting distracted as Gina Davis is talking to him because there's a hobo right across the street who is just going, just his eyes completely in the back of his head and just screeching. And it's like, that seems to be a very ominous sign. And he keeps getting closer and closer. And no one seems to know to this wailing hobo except, Padre Tomas, chat. And eventually, he continues talking to Gina Davis, and he looks away, and the wailing hobo pulls a fucking Batman, chat, and vanishes. And it wasn't just like he was out there just himself. He had his cart. He had like bags and shit over, and they were just gone. So this guy, he moved fucking quick, chat. But I don't know what happened to the wailing hobo, but he's gone. Luke the Boss, thank you for the 2 biddies. Appreciate that. Please fuck up. But no, nobody, like Luke, whether you're here the first hour, the last hour, or anywhere in between, I appreciate you being here. Serious is met to me. We'll talk about it. But we the hobo, he pulls a fucking Batman, chat. We have no idea what happened to him. We then go back to Gina Davis's house where Casey is there waiting for her parents, helps the dad get inside. He's very confused. Eventually, Gina Davis, she goes up. She knows Catherine's there. She goes up to her daughter's room, and she hears all this. And she's like, hi, honey, are you okay? Now, if my daughter was going behind, like, a door, I would be kind of curious as to what she was doing. I'd be like, well, are you doing woman things? Are you doing woman lady things in it? I don't know. I don't want to assume that's the sounds that the ladies make during the woman period, but I don't think that's true. I don't think they sound like pterodactyls when they're on their period. I could be wrong, chat. Maybe I have limited experience, but maybe that is the case. Then Kat stops, killer fucking cramps. I suppose that's it. Gina Davis knocks on the door. She's like, hey, do you need some chocolate or something? Or, I don't know. She's like, I'm fine, Mom. Do you want any food? I don't want to eat. I'm bloated. She's like, okay, all right, I'll talk to you later. After that, we cut to Padre Tomas's really shitty looking apartment. Close, but not quite. Fair enough. No, I'm learning. I like this. Thank you. That's why I need you here. That's why I need my female viewers to see if this happen. Does this actually happen? You sound like pterodactyls. Well, we cut to Padre Tomas, and he is babysitting his nephew Luis. Chat. He's always hanging out in the church and stuff. Luis is like, I know all the Bible stories because he had to help train his uncle. Chat. And Padre Tomas, he bought the square pizza. So this takes place in Chicago, Illinois, and even he knows that the deep dish is a bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit, chat. And he got that square pizza. It's not the classic triangle slice, but I don't mind the square pizza at all. That's totally fine. But the thing is, so this show, I do like that it establishes that because, his sister comes in and because, she works like very long hours. And so he pretty much takes care of the kid when she's at work all day. He's at the church and then later on, stays in his apartment. And, you see him like dressed like all down and everything. And he's got like this amazing fucking body. And I'm like, oh, bullshit. You don't want to be a priest because he's spending his entire time, chat. Once, little Luis, he's passed out because he's consumed so much pizza, chat. And he spends all of his time in the bathroom reading these letters from this girl named Jennifer. It is the year 2018. Who is sending him letters, chat? Like, what the hell's going on here? Eventually, his sister comes by, and she's going to pick up little Luis, who is just engorged with pizza pie. Mama. And she has to, waddle him out. And she's like, what were you doing in the bathroom? He's like, nothing. She's like, were you reading letters from Jennifer? Oh, my God. Listen, you're a priest. You can't be doing that. It's like, she's my friend. She's like, you used to fuck her when you were a teenager, okay? She's more than just a friend at that point. And it's like, I am a man of the cloth, okay? That does not matter. And you could tell this man is too handsome. He is too handsome and too horny to be a priest, chat. But, he's like, I'm a man of faith now, sister. Don't worry about it. She's like, listen, Abuela is dead. Coco Abuela is dead, okay? She can't hurt you anymore. She can't force this life on you. If you want to give it up and do something what you want to do, then do. He's like, no, I'm a man of faith. She's like, all right, okay, fair enough. He's also brooding. He's handsome, brooding, and horny. He's the three of those, Jen. There's a combination. That combination, you should not be a priest. Not be a priest in my estimation, Chad. That's just me. That's just me, Chad. Oh, boy. Eventually, Chad, we cut, and we're back in Mexico City, and we're introduced to a priest sent by the Vatican. His name is Father Bennett, and he's, going to the building that the Irish priest went to. He's in search of him because he hasn't responded to the Vatican's messages. Father Bennett then finds Father Marcus eating an orange very aggressively, chat. Very aggressively. And he's like, Father, it has been 26 days. Look, he's not even to say a month. 26 days to the day. Why haven't you responded to the Vatican's messages? He's like, you know that this exorcism shit takes time, okay? I've been a very busy man. And he just eats this orange. And he's like, you're a rebel. You're a rebel, okay, of the church. And you have to respond, okay? These kind of situations, they're very dangerous, Father. And he's like, well, he asks him, well, how has the exorcism been going of whoever this individual is? And he's like, it gets better every day, but this kind of thing takes time. He's been there for 26 fucking days trying to exorcise this demon from this individual inside this apartment. And so Father Bennett, he goes inside, chat, and there's the mom, and she's got like two babies suckling on the nips, and she just looks exhausted, chat. I mean, as you would be when you got two babies suckling. And he goes in the room, and it's just covered in human shit. He's like, oh, God, just human shit and urine and vomit everywhere. And we hear this, and he's like, oh, God. And he runs out, and he's like, we got to take that little boy to the hospital. It's a nightmare. He's like, no, I can save him. He's like, he's covered head to toe in feces. We need to take him to the hospital, clean him or something. And it's like, don't worry, man. I got it. You don't have to worry at all. And so he just leaves, and then Father Marcus, he goes back inside, and he starts performing another exorcism on this kid, and it's not going great. Because at first the kid starts talking like normal. It's like, Father, why do I smell so bad? It's because you're covered in poop. Oh! And then he starts performing a prayer, and he gets out the holy water, and that brings out the demon, where he starts getting all these little like acne pimples over. He's like, and everything like that. And it's like, you shall leave the body of this boy. Demon is like, suck cocks in hell before I do that. And then the Padre Tomas then enters the scene, and he's like, "Is this real? What's going on? I'm so fucking confused. What's happening?" And it's like, "Oh, is he dreaming? Is this like a vision? What's he seeing, chat?" And he watches as this little boy then bites down like really hard in his mouth and goes, "Pah!" and spits out all of his teeth, chat. And so now they're like little like daggers, like jagged little like. He's got little like just pincer teeth, and it's like, ooh, that's creepy. And then he bites Father Marcus's face, and then we cut from that, chat. And Father Tomas, he wakes up and goes, "Whoa, well that was really weird." Okay. We go from poop boy with dagger teeth to then Tomas going, "That was just a bad dream," but it felt so real. Eventually, we cut back to Gina Davis and her family, and Cameron's watching boats. He's watching a TV show about boats because that's what he loves. He loves boats. But she's stressed out because she's, I guess she runs this publication firm and everything, trying to get all these books published, but also dealing with her husband's dementia, also dealing with the fact that her daughter seems traumatized about something, Chad. And then she's annoyed because she hears whispering in on the walls, and she goes up to the wall and is like, "We're gonna fucking kill all your entire family, fuck you, bitch." And she's like, "Well, that's a little weird." And then Casey comes in, the good daughter, Chad, and she goes, "Mom, what are you doing? Listen to the wall. It's like so silly and stuff." And she goes, "Oh, it's just old pipes." She's like, "Mom, the building was like made 5 years ago. We moved in here. It's like, it's not old. You're so silly, Mom." And then she walks away. But Gene Davis is like, there's something more to this. There's something more to this. Eventually, Casey then goes to the room of Catherine when she knocks on the door, and Catherine's like, "Get out of here." But then Casey walks in, and again, it just smells like fart. And she's like, "Did you fart in here? Like, literally, it's really stinky. Is that you? Did you fart?" She's like, "No, okay. Just, you didn't wash my clothes or anything." No, she's farting up a storm, chat. She thought she was alone, and she just let one just rip. Just a really big, stinky fart. And then Casey came, and she's like, "Fuck." And so Casey's like, "Why don't you come out of the room? We're going to have dinner soon and everything." She's like, I want any food." She's like, "Listen, I know you feel bad about what happened with the accident at school, okay? But Mom's like really concerned about you." And she's like, "Why? Why is Mom concerned about me? Because I don't believe in God?" And she's like, "Well, maybe that's also one of the reasons, but I want you to come down because you're my sister and I love you." She's like, "No, I don't want to come down." She's like, "I'm going to tickle you. I'm going to tickle you." And she starts tickling her stinky, fart-smelling sister, chat. We then transition from that. And we're back at the church, the dilapidated church, where Father Tomas is trying to make repairs to. He's got construction workers there. People are donating so they can, because the church needs to be fucking renovated because it looks awful. It's like, again, if you would touch anything that looks vaguely sharp, you're going to need a tetanus shot. You have Mrs. Finley. She's the organist, chat, and she doesn't like any of this newfangled technology. She's like, "I want the old organ, Father Tomas." And he's like, it didn't work anymore. She's like, "I could have fixed it. I don't understand this technology." He's like, "All right." It's like, "It says ERR. What does that mean?" "It means error. Don't worry, we'll figure it out." And you have this one older woman who comes in, who constantly is always asking for confession, like, "Please forgive me. I think I accidentally dropped a grape and like a baby ate it, and I felt really bad about that because, babies probably shouldn't be eating grapes." And her sister's like, "What are you talking about?" "All right, you're forgiven. All right, yeah, there you go. Now get on your way." And so eventually he's like, "I need to go in the basement where none of the lights work. I'll be back in 5 minutes." And so he goes down to the basement, chat, where he probably shouldn't do that. And it's all creepy down there. There's creepy Jesus stuff. It's like, let's just old statues that are just falling apart and look like skeletons. But he goes over to the fucking fuse box, and he opens up the fuse box. He hits a fuse and just shocks him. He's like, "Oh!" But he gets the light on, turns around. Boom! Gina Davis, Chad. Gina Davis scared. He didn't think Gina Davis could be scary. She can be, Chad. She goes, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry for scaring you, Padre Tomas." And he's like, "Don't worry about it. It happens. She's like, "Listen, I know you're busy with the church renovations, but I really want to talk to you, okay? I need to talk to you about my daughter. I think there's something happening, and I need your advice. He's like, "Okay, sure." And they go talk in his office, chat, while little Luis, he is doing a Jesus Christ puzzle. And that's all the puzzles they got. You got Jesus, you got baby Jesus in the manger, and you got the Last Supper. He's like, "I'm just going to go with the generic Jesus puzzle. Let's just do that." One that looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi, chat. And so they sit down. Father Tomas is like, "Okay, what do you need, Gina Davis?" And she's like, "Listen, I know it's going to sound crazy and everything, but I'm worried about my daughter because I think there is a demon in our house. And he's like, what? He's like, I think there's a demon like in the walls and that's whispering to us. I know I sound absolutely crazy, but I think that's what's happening. He said, listen. And he explains it like the church created the concept of demons to explain ailments and illnesses that they didn't understand at the time, that science at the time could not explain. And that's a manufactured lie of the church. Even I'll tell you that right now. There are, probably other explanations like, no, I know what it is, okay? I know. I've had experience with this before. What does that mean, chat? What does that mean? And he's like, I mean, what would you want me to do? He's like, I want you to come and speak with my daughter to see if you notice the signs of demon possession. And he's like, all right, sure, okay, I'll do that. And then, boom, a fucking crow yeets itself at the window, Chad. A CGI crow comes right through the window and then cuts its own head off because its head gets stuck in the window pane, and it then twists itself around so much that its head falls off. And they're like, well, that's weird. That's a little creepy and disturbing, Chad, but out of sight, out of mind. Don't worry, we'll get that cleaned up. No problem. Eventually, the Padre, he visits the really stinky fart daughter, Catherine, and she's like, I don't even know why you're here. Like, what's the big deal? He's just, well, your mom's really concerned about you, just wants to make sure everything is okay. She's like, oh my God, just because, like, my friend died and I like their Wiccan Facebook page does not mean that I am a vessel of a demon or the devil. He's like, well, that's a lot of important information to learn. Thank you. But your mom does think like there's a demon in the house, and she starts laughing. She's like, she's crazy, okay? She's always been religious for whatever reason, always believed in this demon mumbo jumbo, but I don't believe it, Padre. And he's like, all right. And then eventually Casey comes. He's like, oh, hi guys, good to see you. We're gonna all eat meatloaf downstairs. And they're like, okay, let's go eat meatloaf. And so they go to have dinner, chat. They're all talking. Father Padre's, interacting with Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He's like, hey, Cameron, so how's the boat going? And Cameron is like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about because I have dementia. And everyone's like, the boat that you're restoring. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I just, I don't remember. And then Catherine freaks out and she says, Jesus Christ, Dad, you can't remember anything. And Gina Davis is like, what are you doing? He has dementia. Don't be an asshole. She's like, apologize to your father. And she's like, that potato. She calls him a potato. She says, that potato man is not my dad. He doesn't even know what the hell's going on anymore. Hey, Dad, potato. And he gets up because he gets sad. He gets really sad. I was like, oh my God, don't say that to Cameron. He was dealing with so much shit back in the 80s. Now you're doing this to him again. He wanders off, and then Gina's like, I just drinks more fucking wine. It's like, that'll cure it. Alcohol cures all ills. And then Padre has a little story. He says, I was just thinking right now of this woman who was in this coma. She was officially brain dead. And her family would visit her. It was like for several weeks. And eventually they were going to take her off life support. And they brought in a priest to read last rites. The priest did a blessing. He read last rites. And before they would shut down the machine, she woke up. And funny enough, even though she was brain dead, she recalled all the conversations they had when they were around her, when they were with her, like she was there. And so people theorize that even though a person may appear like they're not there, that they're not listening, a part of the brain still picks up certain things. And so she picked that up despite being under. So your dad might also pick those things up. So stop being such a selfish little bitch. And he just keeps eating his meatloaf. I'm like, whoa. And that's the best scene in the episode. It's like, wow. Fucking Catherine's like, oh. And she's like, I have no comeback to that. And she just gets up and farts in her room some more, Jeff. That's all she does. It's fucking awesome. It was amazing. These graphics. Oh, you're reviewing the extras. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It was good for honesty. And he eats his fucking meatloaf and potatoes like a boss. He's like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. That's right. Yeah. Eventually, he Thunder Lee, thank you so much.
There goes Mr. Grimm.
If they gave a prize for being mean, the winner would be him. Thank you, Thunder Lee. Appreciate gifting a sub to Brandon. Burn in a half, indeed. After that, chap, after that, he gets up. He's saying his goodbyes to the family, and except the fart daughter. He doesn't want to say anything to her because she's farting. But he goes and sees Cameron, who is all tucked in his little chair watching his boat shows. And Cameron, who seems to be even more really aware of what's going on, says, "Hey, Padre, just want to thank you again for stopping by. I know things are rough right now, and listen, I know what Catherine said, but she's a good girl. She's just dealing with a lot of things right now." He goes, "That's fair, that's fair." And he goes, "It's a shame about what happened to that little boy." And he goes, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Yeah, the priest that you keep seeing. Here's his address, by the way, 10 Aquinas Street. Go there, 10 Aquinas Street. Father Marcus is his name." And he's like, "What?" And he's like, whoa, what did you say?" And he goes back to him and he goes, "Oh, thank you again for coming, Father." He's like, "But what about the things you just said?" "I'm sorry, I repeat myself." And it's like, what the fuck just happened? Like, he just suddenly said, like, all this important information, the stuff that was in his dream. And I was like, what the hell is going on here, chat? Luke, the boss, I get the bidding. Aaron, but this girl is white, right? She is white. Yes, indeed. She is white. That's true. After that, he goes home and he sleeps, and then he has the dream again about Father Marcus and the little Mexican boy, chat. And Father Marcus got a big old chunk of his cheek just ripped right out, chat, because his little dagger teeth like bit him. But then his teeth grow back, which is weird. But he's there in the room with him. And he's doing a last rite. He's basically trying to help the kid, throw more holy water on him. And the kid's like, "I need to go, Father. It's too hard. You must fight, lad. You must fucking fight." And then eventually the demon's like, "He has no fight left in him." And he's like, "No, you will not take this lad." He's like, "I'll take him whenever I want." And then he rips out of his bond check because he was being held down by duct tape. He rips out of his bonds, pushes Father Marcus across the fucking room, and goes, "Aah!" And he snaps his neck all the way back, killing the boy. The boy's little limp body falls over, and Father Marcus is like, "Oh, God, no. Oh, God, no." And it's like, oh, it's sad. It's fucking sad. And then Tomas is, he's watching this, and he wakes up suddenly because he's in horror, and he's like, okay, there's more to this. There's more to this. I need to do research. And so he starts researching Father Marcus, finds little information on him. Father Marcus, exorcism, nothing on Google search. Google has no answers, chat. No answers at all. Enigma, good to see you. Hope you're doing very well. He then starts looking up notable exorcisms. And what does he find, chat? The events of the original Exorcist in the case, and all those characters, Max von Sydow and all of them, researching all that and saying, like, okay, that was like the last big exorcism case, like in America. And he's like, interesting. And he's like, I have to find this Marcus guy and see if he could help me. He has the address. The only thing he has is the address that Cameron gave him, but he didn't even know if that's real. But he looks up, and it's like, apparently it's a compound to help priests who have had certain episodes. Bunch of pedophiles. It's a pedophile priest compound, chat. What's Father Marcus doing at a pedophile priest compound, chat? That's a little weird. It's like a re-education camp, basically, in Illinois. And it's like, well, I gotta go to the pedophile priest compound. Thank you. Base Charming, thank you for the follow. You're my new Huckleberry and my new Grinch. Welcome to stream. We're talking about Father Tomas, who then has to go to the pedophile priest compound. So he goes to the compound, chat. He parks his car, and then this padre who's just sitting at a bench beckons him over. He's like, come here, son. Let me get a good look at you. I know who you are. I know who you are. You're a rising star in the Illinois church. He goes, oh, do I know you? You don't. Might have seen him before. He might have handed me a pamphlet about your church, and I promptly threw it out. That's what we do, man. That's what we do. Take a seat, son. Take a seat. How can I help you? And he like waves his hand in front of his face because he has like black really dark sunglasses. Like, oh, is he blind? And he's like, I see you're waving at me. He's like, I'm sorry. I thought you were. He's like, yeah, a lot of people assume that, don't they? He goes, okay. I'm looking for Father Marcus. He goes, oh, Father Marcus, yes. Ooh, what an interesting case that is. Unlike some of these other people. I mean, they're all in here for the same thing, except Father Marcus. Yeah, that'll be a good conversation. You know, I believe he actually is getting some inspiration for his latest work right over there. If you look behind me, and he goes, "Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much, Father." And he's like, "Oh, don't worry. I don't want to give you my name. Wouldn't want you to look up who I really am." He's like, "Okay, bye." And then he walks away. The priest takes off his glasses and he's like, he just seems normal. And then his fucking eyes go all the way in the back in his head and he has demon eyes. Like, it's like, what the hell is going on? What's happening, chat? That's a little weird. But then good old Father Tomas, he goes into the pedophile compound where all the priests are just like giving him the 1,000-yard stares. You're looking real purty. You got a purty mouth. And they're like, oh, God, no. Please, for the love of God, no. But it's really creepy. He then goes to the last room where Father Marcus is, and it's the one that looks the most normal, that doesn't smell of jism. And he goes in there, and Father Marcus has all these drawings made of like in graphite and stuff. And he's like, what would you like, Father? Do you need anything? He's like, well, I actually came to find you. It's going to be weird, but I've had dreams. I've had dreams and about exorcisms. And I want to ask you if you know anything about exorcism. He's like, why would I know anything about that? Because I saw you perform an exorcism on a small Mexican boy. And I want to know if that's real. And he grabs, he's like, how did you know about this? How do you know about this? And he's like, I'm sorry, I just remember. I remember that he spat his teeth out at you and he was covering his own feces. He's like, tell me something that wasn't in the news. That wasn't in the news report. He's like, and recalls that the priest like said this very specific nursery rhyme to calm down the demon inside the boy that was not in any of the newspapers and shit. And he says it, and he's like, my God, you have the gift, Father, but they're using it against you. They're scheming. And he's like, who's scheming? Forces which you have no comprehension of. Pure fucking evil, man. All right, now get out of here. Live your life. Grow fat. Grow happy. And leave me alone. You don't want to fucking mess with this kind of shit. And it's like, Father, I think there's a family that's at risk of demon possession. The mother is concerned, and I don't know what to do. I've never handled something like this. I feel like I really need someone who knows what they're doing. He's like, did you think I knew what I was doing when that little boy snapped his own fucking neck? You think I knew what I was doing? Get the hell out of here. And the priest is like, listen, we are called to do this profession, to help people, not only to serve God or whatever, to help people who need us, man. All right? And this family needs me and it needs you right now, okay? And so if you want to fucking, help me, then here's my address. And he throws it on there, and Father Marcus doesn't look at him. But he's feeling guilty, Chad. He's feeling real guilty about this situation. He's like, fuck, I got to help this guy. And he's so pretty and handsome, too, so I definitely have to help him. And I've kind of grown tired of hanging out with all these pedophile priests. A little creepy. Eventually, though, Father Tomas, he goes to Gina Davis's house because he says, I want to talk to you now about something. I want to help you, but I got to be honest with you about my own situation. And he sits down and he's like, listen, I am very handsome. I am very brooding, and I'm horny all the time. I was guilted into going into the priesthood at a young age by my abuela Coco, okay? Luke lost it in 2 minutes. I bet when he heard the term Mexican boy, he was thinking, oh no, this could go either way. It's true. It's true. It's true. But he's being very honest with Gina Davis about what his situation is. And he's like, I've never heard the voice of God. All these priests I've interacted with said they've heard the voice of God. God speaks to them. Jesus speaks to them. I've never heard that. I'm being honest with you. I've never heard this. However, now I feel like I am. I'm hearing a voice. Voice is telling me about this thing. It keeps showing me this guy. Keep showing me your family. Something to do with this. And I wanna help you, but I gotta be honest with you. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So if we're doing this, then I'm like, make sure no stone is left unturned, okay, about the shit I'm bringing with me. And she's like, hey, that's cool, man. I appreciate the honesty. Don't worry. I've gone through this before. And all of a sudden they hear like a weird pterodactyl screech and something like falling around. And they're like, holy shit, it's probably Catherine. She's probably possessed with the devil. And so he goes up the stairs, and it's all dark, fucking flips a switch, bulb just bursts. It's like, oh, that seems safe. Goes down this hallway. And he sees the door, and there's like a light underneath it, and he goes, Catherine, is everything okay? Catherine, then boom, this attic ladder shoots out right in front of him. And Gina Davis is like, you got this, Padre, I'll follow behind you. She ain't following shit. But he goes up there, Chad, has a little light. And we see at the very end, the very, very end of the attic, there is someone holding themselves against the wall like this. Just crouch and just like, looks like they're taking a dump. Just a big stinky poop. And he's like, this isn't a bathroom. Catherine, are you okay? And then, boom, the lights all shut out. Like, he goes to turn on the light in the attic, and that's off. And he's like, fuck! And he takes his little flashlight off, and he points in the direction of where the person was squatting, taking a poop. They are gone. And he's like, oh, God. And so at that point, be like, I'm going downstairs. But he keeps walking more into the attic, keeps walking forward. And then we just hear this. And we see behind him, Catherine, whoever this is crawling on the wall like Spider-Man. And it's like, oh boy, he does not know. And eventually he sees like something moving in a box. And he's like, Catherine? And he nudges the box, and a rat comes out of it, chat. And it scampers. He's like, bah! The rat scares him, and it scampers across the floor. And then this unnatural force smushes the rat, chat. Just like steps on it, and it's vomits out its intestines. And this thing reaches down from the ceiling and then eats it. And he's like, oh, and he spots it. And it's not Catherine, chat. It's Casey, the good girl. And she yeets herself on top of him and goes, and he's like, oh! And then Gina Davis comes up the stairs, turns on the light, and she goes, hey, guys, what's going on? And Casey's gone. Casey then comes out of, like, behind some box. She goes, oh, hi, Mom. She's like, Casey, what are you doing up here? She goes, oh, you should have saw it. I was hearing, like, some, like, what I thought was footsteps up here, but it was a rat. It was rats. And Padre Tomas, he just stepped on this rat. Didn't you, Padre? And he's like, yeah, I stepped on the fucking rat. Yeah, I stepped on it. Yeah. At that point, I would go down the stairs and tell her, like, your daughter Casey's possessed. But he doesn't do that. He then bags what's left of the rat intestines on the floor, and he goes outside and puts it in the trash can and just walks away. Maybe he's like, I'm not gonna, you know what? I want to make sure I walk out of here, okay? I am the only minority in this show who has a lot of speaking lines, and so that's never good. So I'm not, it might be difficult for me to make it out of this first episode. I don't know how good my chances are. And before he walks away, he turns around, and Casey's just going, bye, Padre. And then she floats back into the house. And he's like, God damn it. And then we hear the exorcism theme start to play. Casey's walking down the sidewalk. And he's like, oh, shit, this is bigger than I could ever thought. And then we cut to Father Marcus, who then leaves the pedophile priest compound because he has got to stop more demons. Father Tomas guilted him, and he's got to work with him, chat. And they got to bring down Casey, that crazy son of a bee. And that, my friends, is my scene by scene by scene by scene breakdown for The Exorcist, the TV series, chat, the TV series. Oh, my Lord. Why don't these people ever have extra lectures? I know, they got none. Oh, think of 2 weeks. I bet when he heard the term Mexico. Oh, I just read that before. No, yes. Let's go either way. So scary. It's just all rating. You know what? There is some stuff that I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, more of this ghost bullshit, which I'm just kind of all done with. But I like the Tomas character. I like Father Tomas a lot. He's pretty fun. I love that he's just, you know, I know like the original, one of the original priests in the first movie, he's like, he had a crisis of faith. He's like, I don't know if I believe in this really, but I do like him. Like, cause him, I totally buy it because of like what he looks like. Cause he is so fucking pretty and handsome and horny. And it's like, yeah, I totally buy that you don't want to be a priest. But now he's like, now I'm kind of in this bad situation where God or something is giving me these visions or I'm seeing these things and this family's asking me for help. So he's like, shit, I gotta help him. I gotta do this, you know. And he's like, I gotta put my own feelings aside and do the best I can, while also probably dealing with this other priest who is crazy or severely traumatized, chat. So yeah, it was fun. I would give it. It's like a matinee. It's a good time. It's a good time, chat. I could see why this has the fans that it does. And it definitely continues the exorcism lore of the first movie that brings it up. And I imagine it's going to be brought up in other ways. I'm guessing a certain character in the show is someone from the past movies. I'm like, well, their age would line up rather well. I'm not going to say who it is for the sake of, in case it is true and people want to watch this. It's all on Hulu. I watched the first episode on Hulu, chat, so I think the whole series is up there as well. So if I think I want to say, but like there's one character I'm like, I know who you are. I'm pretty sure I know who you're supposed to be. But it might be like a name change. I'm like, oh, I see what's going on here. So I think that's pretty clever. We'll see, chat. Yeah, I'm gonna refresh, watch it. Yeah, watch it. Go ahead and I want to hear your opinions on. Of course, Lisa. Of course, the reveal's awesome. Yeah. I think I know what the reveal is. But it's cool. It's cool. It's building. It's being very subtle about it. Also, like a better version of the movie The Right with Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, I saw that movie. That movie's awful. Much better. Father Tomas actor starred in mostly telenovelas, but with the Sensei in this show wears English crossover. He's good. I like him a lot. He did a good job, at least in the first episode when I saw him in. But yeah, this only lasts for 2 seasons. I think eventually they bring in John Cho. I think he joins the cast at one point. I think that's in season 2. I don't know. Man, you see the Sonic movie sequel? I did, our thief. We reacted to it yesterday during the Game Awards. They also wore full Sonic regalia while watching it, too. It was pretty fun. Pretty fun. Who else here? Chat. Colonel Useless, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing very well. How's the situation with Double Tail? So I saw they were streaming before because they did a little test stream. Hope that's working, chat. Hope that's working for him. Only good part of that movie was when Hopkins gets possessed and slaps a little girl. She was hilarious. They always do that in possession films where someone else gets possessed and they start running around the room like a madman or mad woman. And it's always very amusing to me. Tom Corey had a good time. Good, man. Good. Happy to hear it. Wait, is Father Tomas the ICU villain guy? I don't think so. Maybe, possibly. Alfonso Herrera is the actor who's going to be in Ozark. Oh, good for him. The last season of Ozark. Nice. He's still getting work. He's still got things going. Definitely going to be a moment when Knuckle punches through a wall, knocks at a door and says, knock, knock. It's Knuckles. I hope he says, you know the way. I hope he says that. Chris Ayers, with that, I'm going to bed. Night Juice. Chris Ayers, have a fantastic evening. Thank you for stopping the stream. Thank you for the 5 biddies. Corey Dump Spectrum Internet live on stream. Good. Hell yeah. Did he? So what's the update, chat? Because you typically, guys, you know what's going on before I do. Is he getting a studio? Is that what's been confirmed, my friends? I am curious. Also, by the way, I hope you enjoyed the Exorcism review. Hope you liked it. I'll be doing another TV review next Friday, chat. As you know, if you do indeed donate 1,000 biddies, I am then obligated to review an episode of a TV series of your choice. Could be anime, could be live action, 22 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour long, all that good stuff.